pain and all the stress that I've been through in my life, I will personally let you pay for my ticket to go all the way to your hometown and spit dead in your face for the disrespect that you uttering out of your motherfucking mouth.
The Akuandian from the Andes of Ecuador, known as Orca, Angica, Jucar, Yucar, or Andiucar, Aku, Cuba, Akuba, wife of, Wukuda, Anansi, Ananki, Ananaku, Ananaki, Ananaseed, Kumanti, Ahukan, Jukandan, Amarugana, Guyana, Amaruukar, Tartarkan, Tartuorkan, Guya, Yawuku, Yakuba, Jakube, Yaku, Yasu, Yasu, Yahua, Orkumain, Hawk people, Eagle, Akali, Kalimain, Kumain. Nduka, Andean Akar, Akandian. 70 AD escaped from Canaan across to Tamari, Quito, Ecuador, Kukali Khan, Ku means, so-called black, like in, Kola, Gula, this is maroon knowledge. Now let's see what the blanker, so-called, Euromane, said on paper. Akar, records, from, the Dutch, and Albion, England, the, Maroons, or, Me, Coro, called in those days. Also you had, the Kali, Na or Cariba, the Trio or Taino, and more native and indigenous tribes in South Damari, California. The first attempt at colonization of the Guianas was made by the French in 1625, but conflicts with the natives, inexperience and inadequate food supply soon drove them from the area. Only from 1651 until 1667, more than a half-century after the arrival of Columbus, Suriname was colonized by the British. In the wake of colonization came skilled English planters from Barbados with black slaves. The opportunities and threats of the colonial plantation economy were in the initial period largely determined by its relations with the Amerindians. Peace treaties with the Maroons in 1760 and Amerindians were crucial for the colonial society and the plantation economy in order to attain its full development. The Dutch-Amerindian relations along the coast of the Guianas were, although disastrous, not as catastrophic as those in the Andean region, where large groups of indigenous people did not survive Spanish dominance. When the Dutch conquered Suriname, there were 3 indigenous tribes who already lived in the coastal area: the Arawaks, or Locano, the Caribs, or Kleena, and the Warao. The Dutch initially strived for friendship with and exerted themselves to foster good relations with both the Arawaks and Caribs. They maintained good relations with the Amerindians, especially the Arawaks, who seemed to have assisted the Dutch during the conquest of Suriname. In 1678, however, Dutch-Amerindian relation degraded due to Amerindian and Maroon attacks on plantations, causing a near collapse of the colony. In 1684 all Amerindians were declared free persons in peace treaties, thereby putting an end to the animosity between the colonist and Amerindians. The number of indigenous people in Suriname prior to the arrival of the Europeans is estimated at approximately 700,000. This number was rapidly and drastically reduced due to defiance against the Europeans, slavery, internal wars, emigration and imported diseases. In the 17th century, the various indigenous people in Suriname lived in roughly the same areas as today, namely the ANUNAXI and the Caribs in the coastal area, the Wayana and Trio in the south. The Wau lived in the west, but are no longer present in Suriname. From the very beginning of the colonization of Suriname, England, and subsequently the Netherlands, used the so-called divide and conquer strategy by using and inciting the discord among the various indigenous people and Maroons, and later among the Maroons themselves. The Trio and Wayana did not share a history of battle with the Europeans as opposed to the previously mentioned coastal indigenous tribes, who were already settled in the Guianas prior to the arrival of the Europeans. The Trio did not live together with the Europeans, but maintained their distance contact with the Europeans, mainly through expeditions in the hinterland, and with Maroons, however, led to trade relations and some intermingling, but also to contagion due to diseases from Europe. The Trio and Wayana were less affected by the colonial powers due to their geographical location during the first centuries of colonization. They have probably settled in southern Suriname in the late 17th century from Brazil and lived geographically isolated compared to the coastal indigenous tribes of the ANUNAXI, Caribs and the Wau. The Trio had contacts with other indigenous tribes, but only in the 18th and 20th century they came in contact with the Maroons and Europeans. These contacts are described in the following sections. Contacts with the Maroons from about the 18th century onward. External contact was almost exclusively with the Bush Negroes, or Maroons, Mekoro, runaway African slaves and their descendants when the latter inhabited the middle reaches of the Suriname and Marowijne River. The Ndayuka Maroons moved toward the Tupunani around 1760 and their migration was accomplished by 1790. It is presumed that the Trio of both the western region and the Tupunani area maintained contact, whereby contagion occurred. Contact with the Maroons was preserved since they had the advantage of bringing trading goods in the territory. Hence, trading relations were forged between the Maroons and the indigenous people along the Tupunani, the Upper Moroni and the Lower rivers. This contact was of crucial importance to the Trio since trade with the Maroons provided them with highly valued manufactured goods, above all metal cutting tools. In return the Trio Darano Tino provided them with hunting dogs, hammocks, spears and arrows. It seemed that initially the Trio women became trading partners with the Maroons, because the men were scared of them. Narratives reveal that incidental intermarriage also occurred between the Maroons and the Trio. The Maroons, Trio, Wayana and Caribs had developed a pidgin language that was based on the Ndayuka language with elements from the three indigenous languages in order to facilitate trading. This pidgin has now been replaced by the Sranantongo. In the course of time, relations between the Trio and the Maroons degraded due to the dominance of the latter. Schmidt recorded the following in his account. On the one hand the Trio hate the Bush Negroes, by whom they are cheated out and who brought them the coughing disease, but on the other hand they cannot live without the means of exchange. Maroons also seemed to have placed themselves as a buffer between the colonists and the Trio by nurturing the fear of the Trio for the white people in order to maintain their trade monopoly in the territory. Thus so far the Trio had been trading for a number of decades with the Maroons further east on the Tupunani, to their north of where they live today. Trade was and is still based on mutual trust and friendship since payment for goods could take up considerable time, hence the fact that the Trio highly valued friendship. According to Garland and Boven, the institution of being someone's trading partner was a weighty responsibility since Trio do not treat friendship lightly. Conclusion: historiography indicates that numerous indigenous groups populated the Americas before the arrival of the Europeans, displaying an enormous variety of physical characteristics, cultural expressions, languages, lifestyles, and knowledge systems. Interaction between these groups occurred over large distances due to high mobility. The Aku Andean from the Andes of Ecuador, known as Orca, Angica, Jucar, Yucar, or Andiucar, Aku, Cuba, Akuba, wife of, Wukudar, Anansi, Ananki, Ananaku, Ananaki, Ananaseed, Kumanti, Ahukan, Jukandan, Amarugana, Guyana, Amaruukar, Tartarkan, Tartuorkan, Guya, Wuku, Yakuba, Jakube, Yaku, Yasu, Yasu, Yahua, Orkumane, Hawk people, Eagle, Akali, Kalimane, Kumane. Nduka, Andean Akar, Akandian. 70 AD escaped from Canaan across to Tamari, Quito, Ecuador, Kukali Khan, Ku means, so-called black, like in, Kola, Gula, this is maroon knowledge.
Today, begging anago wapu. Unana ke lwa ma ke lwa pasa shina na nyanki mponu wanse fuganga wanse funana. Matade kotoko ibo ibusuma iwele mungete kumini manafu bigitilika. Bika hatilika fafatina ikabele na mwanchonchoni okokoro. Ma hango nanga hanga. Na nangona nkua. Subangete. Kiapo boja kumamba bochebri kitiki. Bikadi dibona bewei malwangu shibe meke bojawo. Natade kotoko iboi busuma iwele mungete kumini. Da uto kifu matanu fe. Bikaha kotoko iboi dibe hankala. Na aposhi oshie. Aposhi oshie. Fudampo ke doma ke dwampong. Da cho kokoro ke dita jo malamanga jo da atolokita kinyankwa fa inyakwa yele. Pefu nanangoda unankua. Da fambo tutuya wali. Da ute hankala. Mutidama klobi. Uganga sitembo ya. Iya. Da utakso. Poshi futu pata boki. Da luku ya dengawang.
Abitoini apedi bien. Asubem. One ton melody, a big thing that don't see. 1 ton of a 1 ton. A big thing that don't see. 1 ton melody, a big thing.
Et l'Amazone, c'est en Amérique du Sud. Et vous me direz, oui, mais ça fait partie de la mythologie grecque. À partir du moment où on sait que les Amériques, c'était l'ancien monde, d'où venaient donc les anciens Grecs? C'est ça qu'il faut.
With all the pain and all the stress that I've been through in my life, I will personally let you pay for my ticket to go all the way to your hometown and spit dead in your face for the disrespect that you uttering out of your motherfucking mouth.
People claiming fraud against me. People claiming fraud against me.
And don't mistake my tears for crying. I mean my tears for weakness. And don't mistake my tears for crying.